Hello, welcome to StackGenius, the podcast for GPs and LPs who want to create alpha with technology. My name is Sylvan, and today I'm also joined by Rohit. Welcome, Rohit.
Thank you, Sylvan.
I hope you
Excited to
have a
be here. As you can,
yeah, excited to have you actually and speak about what you guys do. I knew one of your products before. Synaptic is known for company data, and you're super welcome to say a few words about that. But also, you have a new product called PortfolioIQ, which I actually had a brief look with you before, and I think it looks like a pretty sleek portfolio management solution. So, how would you describe both of your products?
yeah. Well, Synaptic is based around the concept, and this is something that we do really, really well. Is like getting all of your data in one place. So all of the external data from Crunchbase, from your CRM, from web scraping that we do, from external data providers in one single platform, and then much before your peers. Basically, that's the pitch. Like find fast-growing companies before your peers for Synaptic, and then with Portfolio IQ, which is the tool that I wanted to demo today. I think we've created a really, really cool tool, and I'm a little bit biased here, of course, for data-driven investors to collect, extract, standardize, which is really important, and then finally use metrics from portfolio companies. Um, People use this for valuations, of course, like that's a traditional use case, and for reporting, but we are enabling like a new class of use cases around like investors using portfolio company data to be better at decision making, to help portfolio companies better, which is like really important in my head.
Really
um,
cool. I definitely see a lot of value in that area. And how would you say you differentiate from other portfolio management solutions? What's special about you guys?
I think, and again, being a founder, like I've been on the other side of this equation as well, like with investors, like asking updates or metrics from us, and it can range on the spectrum from like some friction to like really really high friction, and at the end, like they're basically getting like 4 or 5 metrics out of us. Our key differentiation is that we make it zero friction for investors, but also for founders. And the way we do this is by taking updates like board updates, financial statements that you are anyway preparing, anyway sending to your investors, and then auto extracting metrics from them. And the key part around this, like the key enabler for this, and I'm a really big AI guy. I'm really bullish on AI. I use AI for everything. But frankly, like the secret sauce for us is like we use AI a lot. We use AI a lot for like this extraction part. But the secret sauce for us is like really qualified humans. These are CFAs, chartered accountants, people who've been doing this for a while, and anyone who's done portfolio reporting would know that like there's a lot of nuance and edge cases around metrics for these companies, and this is where the humans come in and help get like really clean and really high quality data uh, to our investors. And you and I were discussing this before. Like if we had a solution that was like 90% accurate or 95% accurate, investors would be turned off like at the first glance. Like people wouldn't want to use this. So really important for us to like hit that 99.99 or 100% mark. And this is where humans come into the picture.
So I understand that you extract data from flat files wherever they are. So do you sit in an inbox or do you have to upload them? How do they get into your system?
There are like we have a lot of flexibility on that. Like our customers can we set up this auto forwarding email for them, and they automatically like they send us email updates. We take data from there. In some cases we have access to their Google Drive or their Box Drive, and we automatically like take updates from there. And in some cases like people have programmatic like API access and like connect this to the CRM, add it to the CRM, we take it from the CRM and like automatically get that into Portfolio IQ as well.
Let's make it a little tangible and maybe look at how that feels once things have been imported, shall we?
Of course.
Awesome.
So here we have the home screen, so to say, but I'll show you like the document view, and this is where like you can see all the documents that people have sent to us for the organization. For the purpose of this demo instance, what we have done is like we've created a few companies, but we have taken public companies and taken their presentations and extracted information out of that as well. Like I said, like there are multiple ways you can send data to us, or you could just upload documents here. once we take these documents, and our SLA around this is like 2 business days, but typically within the next day, we will have extracted these information, done a quality check on them. Think of this as a black box or a magic box that takes all of these files in, and at the end, like gives you really clean data across your portfolio. So here I have like this view that you can customize in like multiple ways. You can have columns that you want to add here, remove columns, change the order if you want, save this as a new view. But essentially, like this would be your portfolio view that you can slice and dice in multiple ways. And of course, for the purpose of this demo, we created a company called Imagine AI. It's a company that's like aiming to build an AGI system.
Oh, yet another one.
This one's succeeding. This, you see the revenue trajectory, it's perfect.
Very good. I want to invest.
Yeah. And here we come to the tab that we call global metrics. And again, the problem that we solve here is that every portfolio company has a unique way of like naming their own metrics. Like, for example, someone would call burn, someone will call it net burn, someone will call it negative free cash flow. And what we do here, and again, this is where a human in the loop helps, is like take all of these different names and standardize them to like your fund's vocabulary, like how you like to like look at companies. Another use case for this is like for fintech companies, and this is a use case that I understood only after talking to like multiple customers. Revenue as they report is different from revenue how a like investor wants to look at, and
Right.
and the way we bridge that gap is by like creating derived metrics and then allowing mapping all of that to the common revenue pool, so that like you can like basically like look across like all of your portfolio companies and use the revenue like metric consistently across them.
Let's double click on that for a few seconds. So you spoke about human in the loop earlier. So this, I feel, suggests that you have to do some sort of onboarding, right?
Yes, but we keep it very, very minimal. Like I said, these people are like qualified. These people have been doing this for a while, and typically, like I'll give you an example of a typical customer. Say they have 100 portfolio companies, and we onboard historical data as well. All of our customers would want their historical data to be on the platform as well. So how the onboarding would process is like we would divide this into tranches of say 25 companies that we would onboard per week. We would have a weekly call with them, and we would tell them like, okay, for this situation or for this metric where there's a 50-50 situation, this is the judgment call that we are looking to take place. Or they can like choose, okay, no, this is how you should handle this. And once we have that, like after that, it's pretty seamless. Like, of course, there are going to be like changes that happen, but having a human in the loop means that like the human would just like email the investor or like email the contact and say, okay, this is what we're thinking of doing. Does this sound right? The end result for this is like you have really, really high quality data at minimal work or like minimum cost for the fund.
I do like, I mean, you basically normalize and make it easier to understand and to report on. I could also imagine that definitions sometimes change. So how would you capture that?
Yeah. Again, human reads through the document, human understands the company. And it's funny you mentioned that. And the reason I'm smiling is we just, like last week, were looking at a company that lost their biggest customer churned away. Their biggest customers, like around 10% of their revenue. And they basically restated all numbers as which essentially saying that I assume if we never had this customer, this is how our numbers would have looked.
Oh,
Uh,
cheeky.
so that was funny. So the team picked that up. The team obviously like adjusted the numbers so that like it still made sense. But it happens all the time. Like metrics definitions change all the time. This is an extreme example, and we have processes in place that catch that and like also report that to you.
Okay, understood. Okay, so understood the global metrics. So this is normalized. What else should we know? How people
All
work with?
metrics
Please
all
go ahead.
metrics will have all metrics for the company, and then if you click on this, you can also create your own derived metrics, so like formula metrics. For example, like we've created this metric called sales efficiency. If I double click on this is how I define this. It's revenue for this quarter minus revenue for last quarter divided by sales and marketing expense for the last quarter. I can
I like that
create
actually.
like very arbitrary formulas here. Like I can, another way that you would use this is like, if a company has reported sales and marketing expense, report sales and marketing expense. If they haven't, or just like add sales and marketing and like combine that into like a single formula as well. So there are a number of things that you can do here. You can like define them as like different units, and it just provides you a level of flexibility. When, like I said, like for the fintech use case, it just allows you to like create your own metrics and then look for them across a wide swath of companies.
I like it because I mean net dollar retention and magic number are quite typical in SaaS, but might not be in other industries. That's helpful. And I also like how you don't have fields you need to connect, but you can just use almost like the clear text to build the formula. So that's helpful, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rule of 40 is the number one used derived metric
Yeah,
for us.
yeah, fair.
Like if
Nice.
I double click into this, the red values are values that the company stated previously, and then the blue values are the values that they've stated now. So we keep track of all the restatements, we keep track of all the metric changes as well. On the value history, you can see different documents and like when they changed them. On the metric history, I can see if like the metric name changed during time as well. This is great for you when you're doing audits. Like when you use this data for your valuations, and then an auditor asks you like, where does this number come from? You
Right.
can literally like click on view document and see the exact place we took the number from. Uh,
Super helpful.
this
Yeah.
this forces us to be accurate as well, like because we always know that like you can click on any number and see where the number came from. And in this case, if you notice, we took the number from a graph. That is another one of our ability that like we can extract data out of graphs really really well. And we can also mark data on graphs really really well. Like this is the exact column that we took the value from.
How much of the work you would say is LLM versus human? So just roughly.
So um, I would say 80% of the work is like using LLMs or vision techniques. Like not all of it is LLM, but some of it we also use some certain vision
Fair.
APIs.
Hmm.
But 20% of the work, like by is still humans right now. Of course, like
Mhm.
our idea from our side is like over time this will decrease, but we don't see humans going out of the picture anytime soon.
Mhm. I could imagine that the combination of both gives investors trust and gives you speed at the same time. So it would be
Also,
convincing to me at least.
it also enables like you could have like people could like have done this using a human before, right? But that would be really really expensive, and the only way it's scalable is to like to have LLM do most of the donkey work, and then have humans like only intervene where like their judgments are needed.
I agree. Great. What else should we know about your solution?
Yeah, once we have the metrics, like what do you do with them? Like of course, like you can create views using them. Here you can see I have created like I can indent them. I can create like very Excel like views exactly here. And we also have an Excel plugin. So when I click on this and download Excel, I don't download. By the way, this is something pretty cool in my head. I don't download the metric values. I download the formulas. So what
Oh,
happens is when if you like once you've downloaded this, like you can start using this in your own models, etc. But if you want to add a new like quarter, you just like drag and drop the column and like copy paste the column, and like you basically have a new column added to your report.
I like that a lot actually because it makes daily life easier. And I mean, thinking out loud, it's probably not even that hard to build, right? But it's great that you build it. I love it.
So we did like a bunch of things, and like maybe we don't have time for this right now, but I can share the link for that separately. But we did a lot of quality of life improvements. We are finance nerds, and I also recognize that like Excel is not going to go anywhere. So we built that for like people think of it as like us building an Excel plugin, but we want people to use their keyboards instead of the mouse. So we built it in that sense. So we have mnemonics. You can like very quickly manipulate those formulas as well.
I like that. Great. So, anything else we should definitely have a look at?
Um, let's also look at benchmarking. Once you have all of this data, and we found this to be a really powerful use case, is like benchmarking your own portfolio companies. It tells you like gives you ideas about like how well the company is doing compared to like its peers, or like companies that I've invested in that were successful. It gives you a blueprint, so to say, okay, this is what we should do, or like this is what this company did, and this is what you should be doing at this stage. So as you can see, I can compare the same metric across companies. Let me just also add the sales efficiency metric that we created to the comparison as well. And
Oh,
companies can
nice.
have different fiscal years. So we align by fiscal year, or we can align by like calendar times as well. Like we are really good with times, like is how I would put it. We spend a lot of time like figuring times out, like for time series metrics, like that is really important.
It
But
is.
you can do that. You can roll up in different ways as well. But for a lot of your portfolio companies, you're not going to have like there is a problem in that like you're not going to have a lot of companies at the similar stage. You're going to have
Peers.
fair
Yeah.
amount of companies in same sector but not in the same stage. So what you can do is like you can have different baselines. You can like have time is equal to 0 at like their founding date, or you could, for example, if I go here, choose a metric like revenue is like obviously the best metric for this. Let me just like look at total um, revenue, and because these are really big companies, I'll choose something like 150 million. Let me just count the number of zeros. Hopefully that's right. It is. So yeah, I can click on this and essentially like zero base them around the time when they hit like a revenue milestone as well. Typically, how I would use this is like not have 150 million, but like 1 million or like 5 million or 10 million.
And from my understanding, so obviously you would compare within your portfolio where you have the data, but sometimes I don't have good comparisons in my portfolio. I want to compare them to outside companies, maybe public companies. How would I do that?
So we have an active CapIQ integration. We have an active visible alpha integration as well. So you can
Uh,
compare across like public companies. Uh, at the same time, we are also integrating benchmarks such as the Bessemer cloud benchmarks. So you
right.
can like compare benchmark across them as well. I don't have those like enabled on this instance right now, but happy
Hmm.
to share those with you separately as well.
No, it's good to know that this exists. Really cool. On the left-hand side, I see this beta button, which is always taunting me to ask about it. What is this about?
Yeah. Essentially, the idea was like you creating tear sheets so that like you can share data from your portfolio companies, insights from your portfolio companies to your LPs, to other people within the firm, even within the firm, like to the two different partners as well. So what you can do is like, for example, we created this sheet. It's a very Notion-like interface. It's still in beta, but what I can do is like I want to add a metric chart, for example, and then I can have one for ARR and directly add that here. I can have summaries, I can have text, etc., and I can save this and download this as a PDF and share with uh, whoever I want. And let me just show you something else.
Can I intervene for 1 second? Because in my head, you said you can share it. Does it share a flat file or a dynamic file that updates?
So this would share a flat file, like not a
Hmm.
dynamic file, because like the people that you're going to share with probably will not have Portfolio IQ plugin. Like that was the general idea behind
Understood.
just having a flat file. Yeah.
Understood. That's helpful. That's really cool. I think everybody is gonna ask, so can I afford this? How does pricing work? So what should people know about pricing? Who are you targeting? Is this for big VCs, small VCs? Who can work with this?
I think from our current customer base as well, everyone who cares about data should use this. If you care about data quality, you should use this. We have some really big VCs with like huge uh, data teams using this, but we also have like funds at $100 million AUM size that are using this as well right now. And we charge on a per company basis. It scales with your portfolio. We don't do any of that like pricing based on your AUM thing or like around there.
Hmm. So it's based on, is it based on amount of portfolio companies that are being monitored, regardless how many reports, regardless how many people look at it? And Just give me a ballpark. So is this $1,000 or $10,000 per company? I mean, just to get a sense for it.
It is dependent on like number of portfolio companies that you monitor.
Hmm.
And in terms of pricing, it's less than $1,000, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good enough for me now to understand. Okay. Okay, great. So what else? I mean, sometimes people are a little bit anxious about um, data security and people have compliance. You guys are operating from India, I believe. So what can you offer in terms of data security and these type of topics when people have questions?
Uh, the cool part about this is both me and my co-founder, we was OPSEC and InfoSec nerds in college. We used to like do all of these hackathons, etc., around like hacking contests, etc. So we
Mhm.
have a fair amount of background in this. Uh, we are SOC 2 compliant, but SOC 2 compliance, I think, is the bare minimum. Like everything else, like you should definitely have more compliances and controls beyond that, and we think about that a lot. There are two components to this. One is like people security, like securing the people side of the business.
Right.
So, for example, uh, the work for Portfolio IQ can only happen out of office, like, and only through a remote desktop. So you can only access it through a single location. You have to be in office. It's not a thing that like you can work from home at. And then on the data security side, every fund has their data in a separate silo. Only
Mhm.
two people in the organization have access to that data. I don't have access to any of that data. And then there are continuous processes and monitoring that we do all the time to make sure that we're very secure. The it's not a black box. Like we work with like for the larger funds that I talk about, we had to work with their IT teams. We had to like walk them through our infrastructure. And my approach is always that like transparency is like sunlight is the best disinfectant. So like multiple people have looked at this, multiple people have agreed that like okay, this feels secure, this feels much more than anyone else, what anyone else is doing in the market.
I like that. And data usage. So, do you use the data somehow that people have in their instances with you?
Not at all. So using LLMs as well, we're using private APIs.
Mhm.
With zero retention guarantees, so the data is not retained by the LLM, which is absolutely important for our customers. And then we don't use your data in any way. Like we don't use it for benchmarks. We don't sell it. We don't use it in any form uh, for our own purposes. We're just merely custodians of your data.
I like it. Awesome. Rohit, thank you so much for giving us this test ride. Time is running out, but I can't end speaking to you without learning something about where you live. So, where are you at in the world right now?
So I'm in Delhi right now. It's
Ugh.
really good weather, perfect weather to be honest, in Delhi right now.
What else is good about Delhi? What should people know? So, where is it on the geographical map of India?
The northern part,
Hmm.
um, and I think if the one thing that I would recommend about Delhi to everyone is the food. Um, I know you're vegetarian, but the chicken, the roast chicken, the butter chickens that we have here are like amazing. There is a reason uh, my belts don't fit me anymore.
Very savory food. Yeah, but for vegetarians, they also have really good food. I love palak paneer, which is really good for me at least. Awesome,
Yeah.
Rohit. Thank you so much for this. I hope people found it interesting as well, and they can reach out through the website if they have more questions. So, yeah, thanks a bunch for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting me.
All right, take care. Bye now.